Let's go on and get into it. Let's not delay. Let's talk about the Jazz versus the Mavericks. And the Jazz, as they should have, beat the Mavericks 99-93. I saw a lot of red flags in this game, but you had Donovan Mitchell, the superstar. He started off very rough in the first half, only scoring 2 points, and I think he went over in the first half, but he ended up scoring 32 points, had 6 rebounds, had 6 assists, 1 steal, 1 block, but he was 10 for 29 from the field. That ain't good. But Donovan Mitchell had a lot of help from Bogdan Bogdanovic. He had 26 points, 5 rebounds, 4 assists, and he made 2 3-pointers. And it was really just a sad, bad game for every other Utah Jazz player. The only reason why they won was because Luka didn't play and because the Mavericks did not have a dependable scorer. And here's what I'm seeing from the Jazz real quick. I want to just say this. The Jazz are going to break up after this season. I think that if the Jazz don't make the Western Conference Finals, or if the Jazz don't make the NBA Finals or win the championship, you're going to see some pieces moved. Because I think this team has run its course. When we came into the NBA season, I said that the Miami Heat and the Utah Jazz were 2 of the deepest teams in the NBA. Because when I looked at the 1 through 12 rotation for the Miami Heat, and I looked at the 1 through 12 rotation for the Utah Jazz, I was like, no one's stacking up to them. And the Jazz might not be the best team in the West, but they're going to be a formidable team that's going to be held to play in the playoffs. So I don't know what happened. I think it's more so chemistry because they were disjointed in that first half. And I know that basketball is 4 quarters and you can't worry about what happened in the first quarter. You got to look at what became in the fourth quarter and how they rallied together. But the Jazz have some chemistry problems that I believe is going to kill them if they do advance against a Luka-less Mavs. But here's my thing. The Utah Jazz are the number 1 offense in the NBA. Why did they not bust 100 points on the Mavericks without their star player? Why did they not do more? Why were they trailing for like half the game? Why did it take Donovan Mitchell finally connecting on the shots he was taking for them to come back? And when Donovan Mitchell started rolling, you had Bogdanovic that was doing this thing. What I'm trying to figure out, like, why did y'all not take off on them? You're dealing with a team of role players. And I believe that the Mavericks are a good team, honestly. And they showed it to me because I thought that it was going to be a blowout. I thought I was going to be playing the Xbox Series S this Saturday. I thought I was going to be playing some WWE 2K22. I might have played NBA 2K22 and played a different game, all right? I'll probably play with the Lakers since they're not doing nothing. But I was locked in because the game was interesting because the Mavericks kept fighting. Jason Kidd is a great coach, and I think the mark of a great coach is making the best out of the players you have on the court. Luka's not there. Well, you make the best out of Jalen Brunson, who led them in scoring. And if you look at it, if you look at the box score, this game saw the Mavericks step up. Jalen Brunson had 24 points, 7 rebounds, 5 assists on today. He played above his season averages, 16.3 points per game, 3.5 rebounds per game, 4.8 assists per game. When you have your role players such as Spencer Dinwiddie with 22 points, Reggie Bullock with 15 points, Dorian Finney-Smith with 14 points, when they're playing above their season averages, when Luka's sitting down, that's what you need to even have a semblance of hope that you can split one of these games and then hope that Luka makes a miraculous recovery in game 3 or 4. You want this to be a 5-game series. The Mavericks showed me something. The Mavericks are not going to go down without a fight. They're not just going to get bulldozed by the Jazz because the Jazz can't bulldoze them. They have a chemistry issue. They have an issue with the fact that there's no one else. And Bogdan had a great game on today, but can I expect for Bogdan Bogdanovic, who averages 18.1 points per game for the season, can I expect him to play above his season average every game? Can I expect for him to be the reliable second scorer with Donovan Mitchell? I mean, maybe. I mean, he was doing pretty good this year, but can I reasonably expect that it's going to be him? And I know Rudy Gobert had a great game considering. He did have 5 points, but he had 17 rebounds and he had 3 blocks, and he was affecting the game on the defensive end. He was doing the dirty work. And his presence in the paint forced a lot of the Mavericks players to just miss shots. He was not a liability, although he did not score. But I need for Rudy Gobert to play up to his average. And I need for the bench for the Utah Jazz, and once again, I said that they were the deepest team in the NBA right next to the Miami Heat. So essentially, I was saying that they were the deepest team in the West. Why did your bench only have 20 points for the whole entire game? And Jordan Clarkson had 10 of them. That's not good enough. That is not good enough. Y'all only got, 8 field goals off the bench? And y'all want to contend for a championship. If Luka played this game, the Mavericks would have won. I am convinced. But also, here's something that I see when it comes to coaches. What I see when it comes to coaches, especially your strategy-minded coaches, and we saw this with J.B. Bickerstaff as well as Tyronn Lue. Of course, J.B. Bickerstaff on last night with Trae Young and how Trae Young adjusted in the second half of that Cavaliers game. And then with Tyronn Lue with the Timberwolves and also with the Pelicans, you make adjustments to fit the scheme that you believe, especially on defense, will disrupt their star player. Then the player figures it out and you don't make an adjustment. So the great coaches make multiple adjustments throughout a game. If the adjustment you made at the start of the game from watching the game film and doing all you need to do to make sure, hey, like this is how we stop this player, and the player adjusts to that, you need to make another adjustment. And if they adjust, you need to go back to the drawing board and say, based on the information that I have right now, the stats and also the eye test, what can I do to slow them down? If I can't slow them down, what can I do to slow the people down around him? And here's the thing. If Rudy Gobert shot no field goal, he made no field goals, he had 5 points but 17 rebounds. Why are you not putting Boban out there? Why are you not putting Marquise Chris out there? Why are you not putting your taller players out there to contend with Gobert? Now, I understand the defensive philosophy of, hey, we want to put Duncan Powell out there. We want to put Maxi Kleber in the center spot because Maxi Kleber can space the floor. And he had 10 points and he made 2 3-pointers. And you have Duncan Powell, who's a switchable big. But you're getting eaten up on the rebounding. On the glass, Rudy Gobert had 17 rebounds, right? And the Jazz in general won the rebounding battle 53-34. The Jazz had 40 defensive rebounds. That's not good because you're telling me that you're not going up on offensive glass and getting points off the cleanup. That's not good, especially when you're trying to find points with Luka not playing. The reason why the Jazz won is because the Mavericks were not able to find a reliable scorer down the stretch. Dorian Finney-Smith made a nice 3-pointer. Jalen Brunson was turning up, but the ball would have been in Luka's hands if he was playing. That's why having a fully well-rounded team matters. See, a good team like the Mavericks, they're going to contend even against a full team in the Jazz. The number one offense in the NBA, they played well and held them under 100 points. But you need Luka as a star to give you an ungodly amount of points. Maybe Luka gets 40 points. Maybe he gets 35 points and 10 assists, and then you get over 93 points. You might get 113, and this game is 99-113, and then the Mavericks hold serve at home. Luka would have changed the game because you know that he would have scored at the very least up to his season average. And that's the difference. And that's why I believe that the Jazz should be on notice. If Luka comes in and scores 28 points, and most likely Luka probably would have scored more than that because the Jazz defense was not, they left little to be desired because the Mavericks were just missing shots. If Luka played up to his 28.4 season average of points with 8.7 assists on a 45% clip, the Mavericks win this game. The Jazz have to do something. Mike Conley, I'm looking at Mike Conley because Mike Conley's an X factor. Mike Conley is the guy. Yes, be a facilitator. He's a pure point guard. He's one of those old school type of point guards, but I need him to put up 20. If Rudy Gobert is going to give you 5 points, If you have Jordan Clarkson, who's your dynamo off the bench, that's only going to give you 10 points, and he scored half of the bench points, I need Mike Conley to step up. If Bogdanovich is doing his thing, Mike Conley, step up to the plate, man. We need you. I'm scared for the Jazz. Like I picked the Jazz in 5, I think. I don't know. To be 100% honest with you, I don't know. I think the Mavericks, even without Luka, can still make it. I think that this is going to go 5 or 6 games. It's not going to be a sweep unless the Jazz make an adjustment going into the second game on this week. Unless they make an adjustment, it's not going to be pretty. And I think the adjustment they need to make is they need to have a freaking guys' night out. They need to go to some restaurant in Dallas and just have like a team dinner. Like y'all need to go, man, go ride a roller coaster or something. Like y'all need to bond. Y'all need to create memories. Y'all need a chemistry experiment because it's just, the morale's just not there. Donovan Mitchell's star power, he had like a Trae Young type turnaround as far as in points and productivity in the second half. That's why y'all won. Bogdanovich is not enough to bring it in for y'all. But shout out to him for making it happen. Shout out to him. But I'm concerned. I'm very concerned, but you have to give a hats off to the Mavericks because they were supposed to be blown out by the number one offense. I expect this to be a snooze fest, but it was a good game. And man, I wish Luka could have played. It would have been an amazing start to the NBA slate of games. But hopefully Luka's well. I'm glad that they're being patient with him because the last thing that we need as basketball fans and as NBA fans that like our young stars, we don't want Luka to get injured. We don't want Luka to go through what Kevin Durant went through. So I'm glad they're making the process slow and that the team is stepping up. And I'll say this one last thing. If Jalen Brunson can play up to his season average or higher, it's Spencer Dinwiddie who had 22 points today. He normally scores 14.7 for the season. Reggie Bullock, 15 points. He's an 8.6 points per game scorer for the season. Dorian Finney-Smith, he scored 14 points today. He's normally an 11 points per game scorer for the season. If y'all continue to play up to the level of the playoffs and y'all outplay your scoring averages for the season, and the Jazz have another dismal game in game 2, y'all split this season series and Luka's back for probably game 4. And now it gets interesting. I'm just saying. We're going to need to look at what's going to happen at the end of the series, at the end or the middle of the series instead of the beginning. Because I'm telling you, that's going to be what determines it. When Luka comes back, if the Jazz don't adjust, they're going to be going home, and there's going to be a lot of questions that need to be answered. And maybe Quinn Snyder gets fired and becomes the Lakers coach, because at this point, we don't know. But it's not looking good for the Jazz. They got a bad draw. They didn't have a great regular season. They dropped a lot of games they should have won, and they had definitive chemistry issues, and they lost a lot of leads. They collapsed a lot of leads. Y'all say, oh, the Falcons, they fumbled the bag in the Super Bowl. Y'all need to make the Utah Jazz the point of reference for dropping a lead, because they dropped so many leads this year. And that's the reason why they're in the number 5 hole playing Luka and the Mavericks. Not Luka yet, but they're playing the Mavericks that very well could beat them because the Mavericks are a team that is well coached. So I'm telling you, the playoffs are about adjustments. The playoffs are about scheme and strategy. It's a chess game. This ain't the NCAA tournament. This isn't the play-in tournament. This is a 7-game series that's going to go long if the Jazz don't step it up. So y'all need to go to a team dinner and figure out what's going on. Y'all need to get in that locker room and hash it out. Because if y'all don't step up and if y'all don't come together as a team, it's going to get ugly. And in the offseason, y'all are going to have some real questions to answer.